With the growing complexity of the world and the increasing demands of 21st century workforce, there is little question that all students should graduate from high school fully prepared for college and career options.
Hello, I'm Superintendent Gerald Hill, and I'm here today with Alesia Flye, Deputy Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction. We're joined today by West Bloomfield High School counselors Lisa Thompkins and Brody. Today we're going to talk about college and career readiness and how West Bloomfield High School prepares our students. Alesia, can you talk about what that actually means?
Absolutely, Dr. Hill. From an academic perspective, college and career readiness means that a high school graduate has the knowledge and skills, particularly in English and mathematics, necessary to qualify and succeed in entry-level credit-bearing post-secondary coursework without a need for remediation. Simply stated, a high school graduate has the English and math skills and knowledge needed to be successful in college, at the university level, or if they're applying for or enrolling in technical or vocational programs, apprenticeship opportunities, or significant on-the-job training.
That sounds like a lot of preparation. Karen, can you tell us how students prepare for college at West Bloomfield High School?
Absolutely. We are very proud of the fact that 96% of our graduates go on to 2- and 4-year colleges and all those other programs that you mentioned. And the 4% that are not counted for there, they're very close to being ready to go on. And I think the key word is the readiness factor there. We're also very proud of our faculty because every class that students take is getting them prepared for a variety of things. And so when I look at it from a student's 9th grade all the way up to senior year, they have to learn about careers and colleges. They learn what are the options open to them. And then they have to research the pros and cons of these different decisions. And then about the time they hit junior year, it becomes more of a decision-making process. And the counselors stand ready to help them with looking at what is a good decision and what are the factors that will affect those decisions. And then the 4th part in the junior year also, there's a lot of testing that happens. It's testing their readiness. It's testing their decision. It's testing their knowledge. And that's probably the least favorite for the students, but those are all very necessary. And then finally, as a senior, they actually apply for the program they're interested in. So it's a many-step process, but we're really proud that 96% end up doing a beautiful job.
And that is certainly a point of pride for our school district, and I know the feedback we often get from families is that they're certainly impressed with the level of rigor that our programs provide, but more importantly, I think the level of support that our students receive. And as we talk about students being college and career ready, you know, high school graduates not only must have studied a rigorous, broad curriculum grounded in the core academic subjects, but they must also consist of studying other subjects that are a part of a well-rounded education. And so, Lisa, can you just share with us what counselors do to help students prepare for this fashion in terms of a well-rounded education?
Right. This is the fun part of our jobs as counselors is what we like to do is look at the students individually. We have a phenomenal curriculum at West Bloomfield High School. We have approximately 23, 24 AP courses. In addition to that, we have honors courses. But what we like to do is to look at our students individually. It's very critical for us to get to know them, get to know their families, and see what is the best fit for them. So in addition to the APs and the honors, we also want to prepare them for the other things that the colleges take into consideration when it comes to college admissions. So she's already mentioned, Mrs. Brody, the standardized test, and it's never too early for our students to begin, and they'll talk about that a little bit more in the second segment when you talk about the PSAT, the SAT, and the ACT. That is still a very critical part of all of that. You know, some parents believe that the ACT, because the state has made changes, is no longer valid, but it is, because colleges will accept either the ACT or SAT. In addition to the curriculum and the standardized tests, we also like to look at the student and what their passions are, because another thing or factor that the colleges are going to look for is their community service. So yes, our students do community service in their health classes, but we want students to find something that they're passionate about, that they can commit themselves to, so that they'll be able to, also put that on their resume. In addition to that, West Bloomfield High School has a multitude of extracurricular activities. You know, so to make a big school feel small, they'd like to, you know, explore their common interests, get involved in the club and activity, and not just be a member of it, but be a leader in it, because colleges like to see that as well. So we like to get with them, their families, get to know them, see what is their best individual fit, if it's the AP and if it's the honors or not. And those are just some of the things that we like to do to help the students prepare. Another great thing, parents, for you to do is, you know, start looking at some of the college applications. You know, find a time in that, you know, time that you're at the high school between 9th grade, 10th grade, or 11th grade to actually set foot on a campus. If you look at any website of any college, they make it look very appealing, but not until you set foot on a campus do you know if it's the best fit for your son or daughter.
Mm-hmm. So Karen, what specific programs does West Bloomfield High School have to help students with choice and readiness?
And I'm delighted you mentioned that, because as I was saying before, there are 2-year universities, there's 4 years, there's all those apprenticeships and things that you mentioned. And nowadays there are many, many even of the STEM and STEAM careers that actually are geared to 2-year programs. And so we have to all stay open-minded to look at the training required for some of these careers is adjusting a little bit right now, and that's for the good, so that students can pick up and learn these various things and be successful at a variety of different levels. So it's about exposure, it's about you know, experience, and we have so many different programs. And it would almost sound like I'm avoiding the core subjects, which I'm not, but outside of the core subject areas, we go anywhere from at our OSTC, which is our technical center, that has 13 different majors, if you will, that are not offered at our high school, but our students can take them. The training there. It includes any, certainly all our business department, our DECA. I was talking to our DECA coaches, and they have 190 students this year involved in DECA, which means business is really strong and thriving right now. So they can experience those careers. It certainly includes the performing arts, which is one of my favorite things, and that's the music and in all the different types of music, and the drama and the filmmaking. So students can experience that and see if there's careers there for them. And then if we kind of, once you get past some of the very artistic things, go back to the core, you can look at things like our political leadership, which is a mentorship of types, and our medical mentorship. And those are very top-notch programs where our seniors are out in the community working side by side with government officials and doctors and so on, showing that they're very capable of doing these. So there's a program for everybody, and the counselors are there to help kind of help the matching process.
And certainly sounds like our counseling team and our staff at West Bloomfield High School does an excellent job of personalizing this experience for every student. And Lisa, I know you mentioned previously about the importance or recommendation for families to visit a campus that they're interested in. And as a school district, I know that we've adopted AVID in our school district, which stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. And as a part of the AVID program, can you tell us a little bit about that program and what sort of experiences are provided for our students?
Okay, with the AVID program, what we're basically geared towards is the students who are at like a 2.5 minimum GPA. So these are students who would like to challenge themselves with more rigor, but they're a little bit scared of doing that. So what we do is we try to provide them with the built-in support, and they're with an AVID teacher. And the perk of being an AVID is several factors. One, the AVID class typically travels from 9th grade all the way through 12th grade. So it's a 4-year commitment with the student. And the great thing about that is you become like this family. You know, and the other thing that they have in terms of being an AVID student is there's peer tutoring and mentoring. They get an opportunity to actually go and visit some of the campuses with the AVID class. They also get perks a little bit earlier than other students in terms of visiting the college reps that come and visit our school. And they also can qualify, because they're an AVID student, for a Dell scholarship, which is only for those students who are in the AVID program. So there's a lot of perks to it, and it's a very successful program, and we look forward to expanding it further.
So Lisa, how do we involve parents in to assist their children, their young adults with the decisions that they have ahead of them.
Okay, and I can't stress this enough. I think that it's critical and key for parents and the students to really allow us to get to know them. You know, contact us. We're more than happy to set an appointment. And again, when you talk about that individualization, what we want to do is see and make sure that we're on the same path as you in terms of what your student would like to do, what is best for them. We also have the junior parent night that's coming up, and that's where parents can actually meet up close and personal with reps from U of M, Michigan State, Eastern Michigan University. We have financial aid night, and what we've also just implemented within our department is the Counselor Connection, which is published, I want to say bi-monthly by one of our counselors on behalf of us, and that way they can stay involved and up to date on all of the great opportunities that are available for them and their students.
And certainly, readiness for college and careers depends more than just on English and mathematics knowledge. You know, to be successful after high school, all graduates must possess the knowledge, habits, and skills that can only come from a rigorous curriculum and being well-rounded in high school. And so any suggestions for younger students in terms of helping them better prepare, in terms of being more well-rounded, because often I think parents do hear about the importance of having a strong foundation with your core content subject areas, but are there the kind of experiences or any types of experiences that you would recommend for younger students?
I think it goes back to the things that we mentioned earlier in terms of the extracurricular activities, the community service, and one thing that I would really like parents to do is to take advantage of that summertime, that downtime. Every college has a summer program or camp. And the great thing about that is it would allow the students to not only visit the campus that they may potentially attend, but also become a part of a career type program that to see if that's what they really want to pursue. So summertime is a very good time to do that, as well as if a student isn't doing well and their GPA isn't what they'd like it to be, to definitely take advantage of our academic summer school. So those are the things that I would recommend for the younger students in terms of preparing for college.
And one other piece, you mentioned this, the skills that you need to survive in college, besides just pure academics, a little bit of resiliency. And that's kind of a new word nowadays, but it's that ability to, when you face something that's a little tough, not give up. And don't say, well, it didn't work, I guess I'm off to something else. Sometimes you have to buckle down a little bit, seek some advice from teachers, from counselors, from other family members, whoever it might be, and go back and look at it again, because you can succeed. You don't want to give up too quickly. That's an important skill.
And just another note that I'd like for parents to think about and students is high school is a time for exploration. So you may come in one day and say you want to do engineering, and then you take the course and you see, well, you know, maybe that's not for me. That is okay, because how many of us, I don't know about you all, but I started off with computer science as my major. And I tried it for a minute and I saw that all the math requirements, and I said, that's not for me. And I went and I looked a little further. So I would like for parents and students not to beat up on themselves if, one, they don't know what they want to do, because who really knows at 14? There's a few people that might know that I've always wanted to be a doctor, I've always wanted to be a teacher, but for most of us, we're still exploring and getting to learn ourselves, and that's what high school is about. So we're here to guide them through that process, and I mean, it's a fun time, exciting time.
Well, certainly you are huge resources for our students and families, so I appreciate your willingness and what you do in terms of supporting our students, because that's pretty evident as you're sharing just within this brief amount of time.
And we appreciate the information, the advice, and the insights that you provided. I recently had the opportunity to speak with Ann Bartus, who facilitates the Career Center at West Bloomfield High School. Let's take a look at that conversation. Hi, I'm Gerald Hill, Superintendent in the West Bloomfield School District. I'm here today at West Bloomfield High School with our facilitator of the College and Career Center, Ann Bartus. Hi, Ann.
Hi, Dr. Hill. Thank you for visiting.
You're welcome. Preparing students for the future is becoming more and more of a challenge. You facilitate the College and Career Center at West Bloomfield High School. Please describe all of the services that we are providing to help students become college and career ready.
Yeah, so we have lots of features and lots of programs for students of all ages. College-bound students, students looking for career information, anyone who's thinking about the military, they're welcome to come in here. This room is an appendage to our counseling office, and so we host college rep visits, we publish scholarship lists, we promote summer programs. So if a student is starting to think about what they need to do post-graduation, we house a lot of resources for them. And instead of us here at West Bloomfield being the purveyors of this information, we bring the experts to our students. So in this room, we host visits, sometimes of upward of 50 college admissions representatives every year, so that our students can hear from the colleges themselves and really get good admissions information. Or if they're interested in trade school, talking to the actual members of the trade unions and talking about what that career might look like for them.
At what point do students come into the Career Center?
The majority of my traffic is definitely juniors and seniors, but sophomores and freshmen will come in. They'll ask for handouts, information about their favorite schools. They'll talk about test preparation, how they start preparing for those standardized tests. So the majority of our visits are the upperclassmen, but underclassmen are welcome. I encourage freshmen and sophomores to come in because this is the time to really take advantage of great summer opportunities and programs, and a lot of those programs are geared to 9th and 10th graders.
How do you assist a student in getting information about scholarships?
So different students might require different scholarship needs. Someone might have their dream school selected and they might be looking for a scholarship to purchase a laptop, to pay for books or plane tickets. So we would maybe look at private scholarships. Someone who might need assistance financing their entire education might require a different scholarship search. We might look at universities that offer merit-based scholarships. We might look at universities that have specific programs that guarantee money every year that are renewable. So every student's scholarship search is going to be a little different, and we promote not only those private scholarships from companies and corporations, but we also talk about scholarships and grants from individual institutions as well.
What is involved in college essay writing?
So every year, the college essays change. Different schools will develop a new prompt. The University of Michigan, for instance, requires one application with one essay, but they have to write 3 additional essays as well. Some students don't have to write any essays. Some students will be writing 15. So every student is different, but an essay is an opportunity to have an interview on paper. Colleges want to know what that student is like when the bell rings. How can we help a student, not just with grammar and the technicalities of writing, but how can we help a student best express their passions, their interests, their accomplishments, so that the school can see beyond just test scores and grades?
How many college rep visits do you usually have per year?
We average 50. Some days we'll have 7 or 8 colleges in here at one time. Sometimes we'll host visits in the spring. Our counseling office just held the OnSite admissions fair where we have 15 colleges here right now as you and I speak. So every day looks different, but we usually have 50 visits a year. Liberal arts schools, big public institutions, private schools, really anything that our students are interested in, we try to invite to West Bloomfield to meet our students.
We currently have 4 alumni who are at the prestigious United States Military Academy at West Point. Candidates for admission must apply directly to the Academy and also receive a nomination, usually from a member of Congress, and only about 12% of those applicants are accepted. A couple of them have returned to West Bloomfield High School as a point of contact for interested students to learn about the various military options a high school student can pursue after graduation. How have students responded to those visits?
Well, the visits are very interesting because our students learn what life is like at an academy. And they also see how many West Bloomfield students are accepted into the academies. And so that really gives our students some hope. It gives them the tools to pursue their own nominations and their own applications. We've always been respectful of all branches of military, and the academies have really favored a West Bloomfield applicant. We have a lot to offer. And so when the applicants get to meet with West Bloomfield alumni and hear their firsthand experiences, that not only encourages them to apply, but gives them really concrete suggestions for their own applications.
It seems like we have a high percentage of acceptance for the academies.
I think we do, and I think it's been a consistent amount of high acceptances for the academies. So I think you're correct, Dr. Hill.
What's one of the first steps in the process when a student is trying to select a college?
So I think they have to look at their academic interests. Are they interested in engineering? Do they want to be a teacher? Some of our students we have another high percentage of students admitted to direct admit programs. So for instance, they are admitted to medical school as a college freshman. They don't have to take an MCAT. They already know they have that guaranteed admission. So we have students who pursue those professional admissions degrees. We have students who want a really small environment. We have students where cost really determines where they'll attend. So when they pick a school or a university, we look at a few things. We look at admissibility. We want to steer students to schools where they will be admitted and they will be academically successful. We want to pick programs that are the best in their field, where they will have access to internships and really great professors. And then we also look at cost. We never want to promote schools that don't offer great scholarship opportunities or a way for our students to finance their education.
What is something that you have learned from the process?
I've learned it's very complicated, and I've learned our students really impress me. I don't understand how they take as many AP classes as they do. They win trophies for debate. They play our great sports teams. So I don't know how they manage their time so well, and they have such beautiful, well-rounded applications. And so I'm very respectful of our students and what they've accomplished. I've also learned that it's good to start this process early, because sometimes what you think is a great plan might not be the best decision for you. And so when you start looking at schools early, you can really start to visit those campuses and talk to representatives and get the information you need to make an informed decision. I've also learned to start the essays early.
Thank you. What insight do you get as a classroom teacher by facilitating students looking at college and careers?
Well, colleges love the AP classes, and West Bloomfield offers 24 APs. We offer very diverse APs. I believe we offer almost more APs than any other high school in the state. And so what I have learned is that rigor and intensity in those classes really prepare students for college. The admissions officers love them because not only is a student academically prepared, but they get the opportunity to show that they have taken the most difficult content offered at their high school, and they've done so successfully. It also has challenged me to reconsider the assignments that I give students. Am I challenging students appropriately? Is my work, are my expectations preparing them for a college classroom? And I've also learned finally that every student, there's a college for every student. Whether it's one of our fine arts students, whether it's an athlete, there's really something for every student. It just takes a little time to find the right fit.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back. We're here with Karen Brody and joined by Monica Burgess, both counselors at West Bloomfield High School.
Karen, I know that the senior year is a key time for decision making. What is offered for our seniors to help them navigate this critical period?
And I'm actually going to slip back in time a little bit because truthfully, we really start this process in the middle of the junior year. So it's a little bit of a misnomer. We had talked about earlier that we have a junior meeting and a junior parent night that we coordinate so that some of the decisions they have to make are laid out for them and explained, and they're back to exploring and looking at things. Now they finally get into their senior year, and there's no question they walk in literally the end of August and early September, and they are ready with pencil in hand, but they don't know what they're ready for, and they're kind of knocking on our doors. So it's time to kind of show them more procedures and process, because some of them have actually started to make some decisions, this school or that school, and they're in great shape. There's still plenty of seniors, I would say, that haven't quite faced it yet. So we spend the entire fall season helping each of the seniors exactly where they are. One of the big things, again, in junior year and going into senior year, is the testing process, because many colleges hang a lot of weight on that very decision, and so it's a matter of understanding the testing and how it works. And in this very school year, we are in the process of switching to the revised or revamped SAT, and that's bringing up a lot of questions. We haven't seen it yet either, so we've now given a revised PSAT, but we're all going to be learning about this together. I think what's important, and we mentioned this earlier, colleges will accept either one. So it's not critical to colleges which one you take. It is critical to West Bloomfield High School, though, that you do take the SAT, because that's part of our graduation requirement. That's in April of the junior year. So we're going to try and help them look at that. We get a lot of questions like, should I take them both? And what are the advantages of that? And how do the two tests differ from each other? And what we're hearing about the revised SAT is that if anything, it is coming more to be like an ACT. So I think they're going to see some similarities in that sense. But the decision-making process now is much more step by step by step by step.
And thank you for that clarification, especially regarding ACT and SAT, because I know we've received lots of questions from parents in that area.
It's always been an issue because most parents believe that because the ACT was a part of the state exam, that they could only take the ACT, and that's never really been the real fact, so to speak. Most students choose, and we are going to make those recommendations departmentally, that take both of them, because the universities will accept either of them, but every student does differently on each of them. So they may find one works better for them than the other, for example. Many parents are into, how do I prepare my child for the test? There are private tutors out there, there are private agencies out there. Some of them are very, very expensive. There's always the book. Now they're coming out with the Khan Academy, which a student can access.
No cost.
No cost.
No cost.
So you've got a range of opportunities. Some parents will even take the exam early on to try to find out where their child's individual weakness happens to be. Then they will seek the tutor to help them with that section that they seem to struggle with.
So Monica, how soon should students begin preparing and doing the test taking?
Well, now it depends.
Right, that's a tough question.
That's a tough question, because we have parents
Individually.
who actually started in 8th grade and testing the ACT just to see how it fit, or the SAT to see how it fit. But generally speaking, those tests are affected by material that the student has learned. Their acquisition of their academic core course materials affect those tests. So actually from the very early ages on through helps them prepare for that test. Generally speaking, we don't really think they need to take a test before mid-year, their junior year.
And that's, I think, why the state has their part, the required part, the SAT, is at the almost the end of junior year. It's in April, because by then they've learned a lot of things in 2.5 years worth of high school and are more able to deal with that. But we get asked that question all the time.
So now it's time to apply. So tell us a little bit about that process.
And again, it's a step by step, and it's never meant to torment. We don't torment students or families, and I sometimes think that they find it like an income tax form, you know, check column B and check this. But obviously what we're trying to do is make sure that they understand the procedures and that we haven't missed anything, whether it's in the application for college and they missed checking the box that says, do you want to hear about scholarships? Because it was a little tiny line. Or could it be something as simple as, well, the college says they got my application, but they don't have my transcript. Why is that? And so we're going to go through process, you know, step by step. Ms. Bartus from the Career Center helps us with that, and we work diligently on making sure that the seniors go through each process. Everything, I probably should say 90% of everything is electronic, and therefore it's very important that they understand how to get an email address that will work for them, and how do they actually apply with those sorts of things. And yet the paperwork is still sort of there. They can push a button that would send their transcript from our agency, which is Parchment, to a college, but there's a matching piece of paper to sort of set the step and process. So it's part hard copy, part electronic, but we're going to work them through every bit of it. And then once those applications are out and they're waiting for answers and waiting to hear, then we can go talk about scholarships and things like that. But we want to get them through the actual process. The right time is the month of October. A lot of our kids are awesome. They get busy on it in September. In fact, they're knocking on our door in August. We're going, we're not even ready in August. But which is great, which means they've been thinking about it all summer. But the right time is the month of October. So we're right here, right now.
And as I listen to you speak about the process, I think we're just so fortunate as a school district just to have such a strong support system in place for our students. And Monica, speaking of support systems, I know West Bloomfield High School initiated an event a few years ago called the OnSite College Fair. Can you tell us about the fair and how that works at West Bloomfield High School?
That probably was the most creative thing we came up with, I guess, because we have a great deal of fun, even with all the work that's required with that. Initially what happens is that we contact a variety of colleges and universities. Some colleges don't do on-site admissions.
They're too big.
They're too big. It's not that they weren't asked to be a participant, it's just that that's something that they do not do. And in the past 4 years, what we've also seen are some schools who did it in the beginning, who changed their methodology, and they no longer do it. But right now, in this particular year, we had 14 colleges and universities who committed to come. What we ultimately do is that we inform the students which schools are coming. We ask them to come in and indicate which schools that they're going to select, up to 5, pretty much. Then we tell them, don't worry about your transcripts, don't worry about your test scores. We'll prepare all of this material for you, for the reps, so when they come, they have something to review. All you need to do is to complete your application online, download and print a hard copy. For some students, that tended to be a challenge, but that's okay. They got it done, it was there, and we were good to go. Karen did a fabulous job of setting all of the appointments up, and the kids were handed their passes. They came in at a particular time, and then they saw each of the representatives. And I think we started about 8:30, and I think we finished about 12:30 on the afternoon of the 14th. And you talk about the smiles.
Oh.
Yes.
About a fourth of the senior class participated in this process. And again, you'd say, well, that's 25%, that's not many. But since an awful lot of our seniors are applying to those bigger schools, Michigan State, and Wayne State, and Oakland University, who were not part of this process, we're really proud that we were able to go out and invite the rest of those students to come and be a part of it. It was just really wonderful.
The nicest thing to hear the kids say when they come out and they're smiling is that somebody likes me, somebody wants me.
Yeah.
And in years past, we've had parents say they were so thankful because their kids questioned whether or not that even with their grades and even with their test scores, that they just might not get in. and to be able to go through that experience and have that positive reward, validation, as one of the kids said, was just a very positive thing for them. All we have to do is just keep them rolling to the end of the year.
Right. I actually had 3 too that they got sort of a not as happy answer, but they said, the representative told me I have a chance if I do well this semester to get in. That was the most motivated young lady I ever saw that day. She was, you know, about to go out and knock the world over with how she's going to do in her class.
So that
was
feedback
good.
It's very
critical.
important,
Yeah.
very important. And many times, feedback from the college reps, even though we tell them things, you know, it's not over till it's over, you know, you can't have senioritis, none of those things, but to have those kinds of confirming conversations with the reps is very positive.
So this is certainly an impressive day in our district, and Dr. Hill and I had the opportunity to attend, and we talked to several students who were so fortunate to attend the fair and meet with colleges in attendance. Over $2 million was awarded to our students, including 4 full-ride scholarships. At the OnSite College Admissions Fair, 103 students attended. 92% of those students were accepted to 1 or more colleges. 2,053,288 total scholarship dollars were awarded. And now we're going to listen to some of our students who were in attendance.
I visited Michigan Tech, and that was honestly a pretty solid interview. They went over my resume, my transcript, my ACT score, and I just got accepted. I'm super excited on a merit-based scholarship. Today's honestly a great day. I'm going to see U of M Dearborn later, and I hope all turns out well.
Today I spoke with Lawrence Tech, Western University, Michigan Tech, and University of Michigan Dearborn.
And what was the result of those conversations?
I got accepted to all of them.
I did get scholarships awarded to me from all 3 of the schools I visited. At University of Michigan Dearborn, they actually gave me the full ride. And then at Lawrence Tech, they gave me the presidential scholarship. But they also said that later on in the year, they will look at everybody who was offered that scholarship to decide who gets the full ride, and they'll select 5 students, so I'm looking forward to that. And then Michigan Tech also gave me a scholarship for my merit.
Today I spoke with Michigan Tech, Central, and Western University.
And what was the result of your conversations with those 3 schools?
I was accepted to all of them, and I received a scholarship from Central.
And a scholarship from Central, and what was that scholarship? What was the amount of the scholarship?
It's $6,000 per year, or $24,000 total.
I'd like to thank Karen and Monica for joining us today, as well as Lisa in our previous segment. Education is more valued and necessary today than ever before. The bottom line today is that all high school graduates need to be prepared for some post-secondary education and or training if they are to have options and opportunities in the job market. Thank you for joining us today, where we have taken a closer look at college and career readiness in the West Bloomfield School District and how our counselors are connecting students to the real world.